According to RedFin, homebuyer demand is plummeting and people are finally waking up to the massive super bubble developing in the housing market. Is this finally the relief buyers have been looking for, or will we continue to see prices skyrocket to absurd territory? In today's video, we look at the latest evidence backed up by data from RedFin, numbers that are painting a grim future. A lot of people have been talking about a massive housing crash, a popping of a bubble that has been raging for years now, and it makes sense. Since 2019, prices have risen to absurd territory. To make matters worse, average payments have skyrocketed following a massive jump in interest rates. This 1-2 punch of prices and rates has created an unprecedented environment for buyers. This chart showcases the mayhem. Since 2016, mortgage payments have gone from around $1,100 a month to $2,500 on average. In the past year alone, they nearly doubled. Meanwhile, wages during that same period have failed to keep up, and young Americans today find themselves in a tough spot, unable to afford the slowly decaying American dream. Yet despite all of this, median prices continue to rise, and many are asking themselves, where is the end? Well, the good news is finally here. For the first time, we are seeing reports of demand diminishing. In the latest release on May 12th, RedFin reported it saw a 7% decline in the RedFin Homebuyer Demand Index, a stat that measures requests for home tours and other home buying services from RedFin agents. This is their go-to for measuring demand and serves as an important metric in determining future price movement. As these stats decline, the chances of price drops in the future increases significantly. On top of this, we have plenty of new bearish comments from their chief economist, who publicly stated rising mortgage rates have taken a notable bite out of demand. Price drops are becoming alarming as they have risen to a 7-month high of 16%. That's quite a shocking statement from someone who works at a company whose stock is already down 90% from its peak. But there is no better way to see this than to visualize it yourself. If we head over to the RedFin search page and type in a popular county like Maricopa County in Arizona, we can see this slowdown firsthand. Over 9,000 homes are for sale here, but to showcase what I was talking about earlier, we're going to have to turn on a few filters. First, we are going to show only homes that have been sitting on the market for longer than 60 days. Then we're going to turn on our second filter, homes that have been price reduced in the last 2 weeks. The results yield 300 homes, and looking through them, we can get a sense of the things that are starting to change. Now, this home in Queen Creek is the perfect showcase. Its story is wild and reveals the absurd nature of the market in Phoenix. I did some extra research on the Maricopa County Auditor site to get the full picture. This beautiful home was built in 2007, and in 2010, it sold to someone for $197,000. Not bad. Now, as this story unfolds in the next decade, you really get a sense of why and how the situation in the market is so screwed up. In 2015, the owner sells the property for $255,000, a decent return following 5 years of appreciation. But that's not the crazy part. Now fast forward a couple of years and things get very interesting. In late February 2022, the home is sold for $584,000. And while that seems absolutely absurd, it gets even worse. Turns out the buyer isn't even a person but a corporation. This home was purchased by Opendoor, a massive prop tech company that has a department that is dedicated to purchase and sell homes for profits. They waited approximately 2 weeks and relisted for $640,000. That's $56,000 more than what they paid weeks ago. Now you may be saying to yourself, maybe they did some upgrades and the price is deserved. Well, the pictures are still up from the previous listing, and it seems to me that no major projects were completed. The kitchen, the bedrooms, and the outside all look pretty much the same. So what happened next? Well, the home supposedly had 2 canceled contracts, and eventually Opendoor was forced to reduce the price. First to $618,000, then to $611,000. Now almost 3 months later, the home is still sitting there waiting for a buyer. This listing is what we're seeing throughout many of these hot markets. The euphoric demand is quickly diminishing. The days of buying a home and reselling it weeks later for a massive profit are over. Homes like this are sitting on the market for months, and these companies are being absolutely decimated, losing money by the millions. But there is another side to this wild story. On the other hand, for most Americans, this market is worse than ever. While price reductions like the one I just went over are increasing, they're only happening in very specific markets to very specific, overpriced, often investor-related homes. Median prices have continued to go up. According to that same report, the median home price in America has risen to record highs, nearly $400,000. The reality is that 57% of homes sell for over their asking price. That is more than ever according to their records. Homes sell on average in 15 days, which is also the lowest number in recent history. Outside of these hot markets, a different reality is starting to take shape. Throughout the country, in less popular areas, the story is quite the opposite. Homes sell in days, they are often overwhelmed with buyers despite record prices and rates. The supply shortage is severe and a dangerous cycle is developing. For people who believe prices would calm down in 2020, they have now waited over 2 years with false hope. FOMO is beginning to take over as buyers are eager to get in before prices continue their upward trajectory. Anger, frustration, and even denial are occurring as we speak. While everyone understands the psychology behind this behavior, we have to acknowledge a few facts about the market. There are plenty of people who truly believe they will get to see 2019 prices again in the markets. But as I'm about to show you, the chances of such a crash are slim to none. Real estate in America had its biggest slowdown in history during the 2009 recession. During this time, the median home price went from its peak of $257,000 down to $208,000 before continuing back up for the rest of the decade. This represents around a 20% decline. Now, just so you understand, the situation in 2008 was bad, really bad. The S&P 500 declined around 50%. Unemployment shot up to 10%. There were multiple bank failures, dozens of prominent bankruptcies, and a complete global economic meltdown ensued. Now, despite what many called the worst economic downturn since the Great Depression, home prices, like I mentioned earlier, fell only 20%. I bring this up because today the median home price is $429,000 according to the Fed. And while many are claiming we are in the middle of an economic slowdown, we are nowhere near the carnage that was experienced in 2008. Even if we get a complete economic catastrophe similar to 2008, a decline of 20% would take our median price back to $343,000. That was the number in late 2020. This means for home prices to return to pre-pandemic numbers, we would need the market to collapse by a record amount, and I'm finding it really hard to believe that the next decline will be the worst in history. If you're betting on that, good luck. And for that reason, I find it incredibly frustrating that people flock to creators and videos that claim homes are experiencing a meltdown in prices. While it's certainly possible, it's incredibly unlikely that we see a downturn of 50%. If you think otherwise, I would love to hear your reasoning in the comments below. While this situation is incredibly frustrating and sad for future buyers, we still need to face it with an honest view, one that takes into account all the factors and data presented before us. Thank you guys for watching. As always, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed it.